you gonna be comfortable there? With I'm gonna go sit outside and try to relax for half an hour while it happens. I'll be eating when it starts, right? No? Are you still doing the awards? That's the one thing that's gonna be wild. That's the one thing you do that I want. I want to give away the awards. I love all those people. They're all good people that are getting them. Did you forget to bring them?
I got the awards.
Go do what you gotta do. Or if he goes out long, you can just shake him in the side. I'm sorry, you don't have Getting started in 1 minute. 1 minute and the candidates will be coming up. Would you like to do that? When I say ready, you want to start it and see it go? You realize I'm going to have to kiss someone. It could get ugly. Where's who? Claire? She's hiding over by the wall. Claire and I didn't get dinner. We were going to order some food. So, it's expensive. We didn't want to do it. Chipotle's like, $7 for each. Just counting orders. That's what they come down to. Oh, I heard it was good. I wanted to get a fillet, but I had to stay here and do stuff. Let me check.
on my camera changed to say it shows that it knows that he's plugged in, and it wasn't saying that.
Oh, really?
The HDMI itself.
Oh no, I think it might be my extension. Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. We'll try. Real fast. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
No. Nicely done, David. Very, very nicely done. Everybody having a good night? The food's going to be coming soon. Again, my name is Brian Lamrick, and I'm going to host a little something for you now. We are going to have a little mini candidate introduction, a little forum. There's no questions. Each candidate's going to get a few minutes to come up here and introduce themselves, and they will be strictly controlled by the timekeeper, the man in the blue beard with the machete. We have 6 candidates that are all looking to run on our statewide ticket in 2018, and we will be voting on them at our next convention next year. So it's very important that we reach out, we talk to these guys, and we ask them questions today. But for now, this is just a chance to hear from them, hear their story, get an idea for who they are, and then catch them later, corner them in the bathroom, whatever it takes, and let them know what's on your mind and what you want to hear from them. So for these 6 candidates, first I want to start with the one man who has announced himself for lieutenant governor. He is part of the Chicago chapter and was the man responsible for getting us into the Pride Parade last year, which was phenomenal. We had a blast. It was great. I'd like you all to welcome up our lieutenant governor candidate, Mr. David Earl Williams.
Okay. All right, I'll start this because I got so much limited time here. All right, so it's a pleasure and an honor being here, and good evening to you all. My name is David Earl Williams III. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, novelist, model promoter, political activist, humanitarian, working American, and most importantly, a libertarian. And I've been active. And I've been active with the Libertarian Party for just over a year now, but prior to that, back in 2014, I ran as a Republican, and I apologize for that.
We still love you.
Yeah. So, I ran in Illinois' 9th Congressional District. I lost my primary by 1,427 votes for my first run, and following that, I ran as an independent. So looking at the 2016 election cycle that just passed us, I've noticed that Americans are ready for more choices. You have a choice when you go to different grocery stores to buy certain produces or, cars even. When you have more liberty, you have more choices, and you have a prosperous society. So within my heart and soul, I believe that the Libertarian Party can produce this for all Americans, especially based on a free market model principle. So it may not come as a shock to all of you, I'm running for the nomination of Lieutenant Governor. And when it comes to choices, these are the following things I would like to do, such as lower the state income tax, sales and property tax, abolish civil asset forfeiture, and the red light camera, so everybody can see that. We're going to get rid of the inheritance tax. I'd like to get rid of that. Promote parental reformation in the family courts. That's an important one to me personally as well. And when it comes to schools and hospitals, if we can't at least have people concealed carry, I personally feel that at least the security staff should be able to arm themselves to protect the sick, injured, and the children there. Let's see, install economic freedom zones in impoverished urban areas. Some people might like this one, but legalize prostitution. And most importantly, end the war on drugs in our state. It never really made sense to me that we're going to put people in cages for either having bad habits or simply wanting to have fun. I always found that to be stupid. So we should most definitely, keep an open mind on legalizing all drugs. So with that said, I'm not going to use the Libertarian platform as a personal gimmick or for 15 minutes of fame. I'm actually here to promote the values of personal liberty and economic freedom. And if I do get the nomination, if I do have your confidence in your votes, I'm going to have so much fun, going after Mr. Burns, aka Bruce Rauner, and Krispy Kreme Pritzker. So with that said, thank you so much for allowing me the time of the day to speak up here, and please enjoy the rest of the convention.
Thank you very much. Now, before we have 3 candidates here who want to be your. All 3 of them bring their own set of skills. They have their own ideologies they bring to the table. They have their own unique backgrounds and experiences. They're all great, and you're all going to talk to them, but I do want to say one thing about them. All 3 of them have one thing in common. This is their first Libertarian convention. Talk to them. Talk to them. Ask them questions, hold their feet to the fire, and let them know what you care about and what you're going to do for them and what you want them to do for you, what you expect from them. With that being said, the first candidate who wants to be our nominee for governor is named Matthew C. Scaro. He is from the Chicago chapter as well. I've marched with him in a few parades, and he did collect some signatures to help get my wife Claire Ball on the ballot last year. So with that, welcome up Matthew C. Scaro to the podium.
Good evening, Libertarians. All right. This convention has been awesome. First off, I just want to say thank you to Brian, to Lex, to everyone who's been involved, to Jenny. This has been so much fun. My name is Matthew C. Scaro. I'm one of the Libertarian candidates running for Illinois governor. Obviously, I want to earn your confidence. I want you to nominate me next year. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a small business owner. I have hired people. I've unfortunately had to fire people. I've managed budgets. I've managed products. I've managed solutions. And that's what I bring to the table here as your candidate. Now, as a Libertarian, I've been involved at the Chicago chapter for the past year. I don't think I've missed a meeting. Justin can probably confirm. Like Brian said, at the state level, I was involved with the campaigns for Claire Ball for comptroller, for Kent McMillan for United States Senate. I spoke on their behalf and I campaigned on their behalf. At the federal level, I was the Gary Johnson, Illinois events coordinator. I was literally that Libertarian standing out in the rain getting ballot access petition signatures. I took action because action needed to be taken. Now, is this why you should choose me as a candidate? I don't know. But I want you to choose me because you believe that I'm the best candidate. All right? My campaign is going to be a campaign of principle. I am going to have a campaign of electability, and I'm running a campaign to win. I know a lot of you are sitting here, and you're thinking about the governor's seat, and you're saying, my goodness, we get a good candidate, maybe we can get 5%. For me, that would be icing on the cake. I'm coming to take that seat in Springfield, okay? Now, I think that we have a lot to be grateful for. Yes. I think that we have a lot to be grateful for, and I think that we have a lot to be optimistic about. My entire campaign is going to be open and optimistic. And by the way, just like Brian said, you feel free to ask me any questions you want. This entire campaign will be transparent. But in our personal lives, we all have food on our plate. We have a roof over our head. We have clean air to breathe. We have clean water to drink. We are surrounded by people who love and support us. As Libertarians, our party is growing. More chapters are starting. We're getting more media access. We're getting more votes. The next step is getting a Libertarian elected to a major position, and that is what I bring to the table. My name is Matthew C. Scaro. I'm running as a Libertarian for Illinois governor. Let's make Illinois solvent again.
Thank you very much, Matthew C. Scaro. The next person who's coming up here is a gentleman who probably comes with the most media experience and the most political experience out of anybody here because he has run 4 major campaigns before, and he wants to be your Libertarian candidate for governor. I like him because he had a career that he will tell you about that I always enjoyed when I was younger. And what it is it's showmanship, and it's reaching people, reaching out to them, and making them feel emotions. Reaching inside and making them love or hate whatever it is. That's what he brings to the table, and that's what he wants to bring to work for us. I want you guys to welcome up Mr. John Allen Stewart.
Notes are backwards, upside down. Just want to say thank you, Brian, for everything. Reiterating what Matthew said, past couple of months you've been an inspiration, your energy and your knowledge and your advice, and most of all your friendship. And I just wanted to say on behalf of all the candidates, thank you. I'd say more about you, but I couldn't read the rest of your handwriting. So, on behalf of my wife of 20 years, Joanne, and my 3 children, I want to thank Chairman Green, party members, guests, and our guest speaker, Larry Sharp. Since joining the Libertarian Party in 2011, I've championed 2 specific beliefs of the Libertarian platform: the deregulation of small businesses and our party's firm stance on freedom. The deregulation of businesses is so vital to this state. It is an urban priority, a domestic priority, it is an economic priority, and it will be a priority of my administration that the state of Illinois is a free and vibrant entrepreneurial-based economy. Our party's stance and belief on freedom is very dear to my heart. But can we as a party expand on that? Not so much as it seems in rote, but can we expand more than the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the amendments? Because when we end up paying for a home twice because of skyrocketing real estate taxes, that doesn't sound like freedom to me. When a state's budget is $13 billion and businesses and individuals are fleeing our state en masse, doesn't sound like freedom to me. When a rogue police officer entrusted with upholding our Constitution can pull over someone and perform an illegal search and seizure simply because they felt like it, doesn't sound like freedom to me. And we cannot consider ourselves living in a free state committed on the south side of Chicago, and it doesn't sound like freedom is ringing when the youth of this state are killing each other on our streets, and my administration will stop that. I promise to cap our real estate taxes, make them based on the value of your home, not a bipartisan coalition to reform the state pension program. I promise to champion legalized marijuana, but I'm not only going to champion gift stores of the 2 casinos that I allow being built in our state. Lastly, I say to the youth of this state, I promise to address our youths, restoring sanity to our family courts and ending the violence in East St. Louis and in Chicago. As your nominee, if you choose me, I will travel across the state tirelessly, embracing bipartisanship and bringing professionalism back to the governor's office. This to each and every one of you, I promise. So finally, my fellow libertarians tonight, their taxes, raise their families, and play by the rules. On behalf of all the libertarians and all of you here tonight who yearn for freedom, unchained by oppression, I proudly and officially declare my candidacy for Libertarian Governor of the great state of Illinois. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Allen Stewart. We have one more candidate coming up here who wants to be, again, your nominee for Libertarian candidate for Governor of Illinois. This man will tell you all about himself, but I will tell you he is a 20-year Navy veteran, and he does not hide anything from anybody. He puts it all out there just like it is. It's what he's known for. He's very honest. He wants everybody to know what he feels about a situation. He's very comfortable with that, and he's collected an army online of supporters for the things that he believes in. I want you all to welcome up Mr. Grayson Cash Jackson.
To say that this is daunting and scary is an understatement for myself. I am not a public speaker, but I have felt compelled in the latter years of my life, seeing what I have witnessed in my country, what I have witnessed in the state of Illinois, that although I completed 20 years of naval service, my job was not yet done. It was not yet done because I saw the pain and the suffering on my fellow citizens' eyes. And Matt talked about action, and I applaud him for action. And I believe the exact same thing. I took action. I went out to Standing Rock, North Dakota, and I stood alongside the Standing Rock Sioux tribe when I witnessed the human and constitutional right violations that were occurring in North Dakota. David spoke just for a second about family law. The exact same thing. I went to Washington, D.C., and I led a march of several hundred protesters to the White House to oppose the grotesque infringement of human and constitutional rights conferred upon our families and our children through the family law judicial system. It has went unchecked for far too long, and it's because they are profiting millions and millions of dollars off of your Social Security that you pay into. See, there's so many areas that are going unaddressed. I am not afraid. I am not afraid to say the hard things that need to be said. I am honest and transparent. I'm human just like you. I've got 3 beautiful children that I want to raise, that I want to see grow and succeed in life. But to do that, I must continue to serve. I must continue to serve the people of this great state and this country to do what is truly in their best interest. And what's in their best interest, it's not property taxes that continue to balloon out of control. It's not $130 billion in unfunded pension plans. It's not health care costs and taking care of politicians before people. It's putting people, it's prioritizing you and your families and your community over the state, removing unfunded state pensions, giving a greater autonomy and decision-making authority to the communities that deserve those. Last but not least, I'm doing this as a libertarian because as a longtime conservative, I believed for many, many years in conservative principles. But as I aged and I got a little bit older, my line of thinking began to evolve and to change based on what I was witnessing and what I was seeing. It's not my place to legislate your morality, nor is it our government's place to legislate your family's morality. What you do in your home behind closed doors is your business. The thought and the practice of incarcerating men and women for nonviolent, non-aggressatory action has went unchecked for entirely too long. As governor, I would release nonviolent, non-threatening to be paid to the community and the society in which the offender offended. It should go back there. We should not be afraid. Thank you. To recreational marijuana. I lived in Washington State. I saw it. I saw the immediate benefits. It wasn't some crazy outrage of a gateway drug and all of a sudden millions of Washingtonians were running crazy in the streets on methamphetamines. That didn't happen. The state benefited immediately. As your governor, number one, I'm retired, but number 2, I'm youthful and I'm strong. I will run this state. I will be on a full-fledged tour, just like I was in the military.
Like I said, guys, we got 3. Give them plenty of them. We got 2 more candidates coming up, and it's hard to be biased for both for both of them for several reasons. Your Libertarian nominee for Secretary of State for Illinois, over the state last year with my wife. He's alone with her. He traveled across the state 5.5 hours, whining and complaining in the back seat the whole way. And with Claire Ball, traveling down to Murfreesboro, to Benton, to Mount Vernon, to Marion, to Metro East, to Whiteside County, to downtown Chicago, and out to Mundelein. He still does the gun show, putting together the table. If there's anyone that I know that has proven his dedication and has been a member here for 18 years, it is this man who wants to be your candidate for Illinois Secretary of State.
Good evening, Libertarian Party of Illinois. Good evening. 2 here. You all make me so proud. My name is Steve Duttner, and I am your Libertarian candidate for Illinois Secretary of State. Every libertarian convention that I go to reminds me of the journey I took, getting excited about talking about liberty, and remember when that excitement began for me. My first job where I had to deal with taxes when I had to take so much of what I thought I earned without my consent. What is taxation? It was during this buy a koozie. It was during this time that my grandfather encouraged me to question everything I had been told. Although he was not by any means a libertarian, he taught. I started to dive deep into the issues and discovered that I did not support many of the issues Republicans did, and started a book by Harry Brown, who had just had his first run for president. I was amazed by Harry Brown. This guy made sense. I had to get involved. It was now 1990. I voted for Harry Brown the next time around and decided to get even more involved. I joined National in 2001, shortly before 9/11. Then, it's been political activism up until now. Recently, I took on the role of activism director for the LP of Illinois and have loved every minute of it. I take pride in stating I am all libertarian all the time. Me to run for Secretary of State. That would be Miss Claire Ball. Sorry. I gave up the majority of my personal time for her and Kent, but it was a wild around the state and saw the enthusiasm of volunteers, and that's you in this room. First off, I'm going to privatize the heck out of the DMV. It's more business friendly by reducing the cost to start and maintain an LLC. Illinois is ranked 3rd in the nation for highest LLC costs. This has to change. There are over 24 different. I challenge you to figure out what they all do. One of these departments is the Secretary of State Police. They enforce some really ridiculous code, much pertaining to the new medical marijuana laws. Honestly, I would like to disband the Secretary of State Police. I would like to have local enforcement handle the code violations as they should be paid to do. Get rid of the Inspector General. I want external auditors, not someone that is already part of the system. Did you know that the Secretary of State's office steals tons of your money to give grants to such organizations like the Boy Scouts and also to empower youth to take up the game of golf? Yeah, those grants are going to end. My vocal piece for the issues that affect the Secretary of State is the Department of Legislative Affairs. I can't do anything with emissions tests, I can't do anything with red light cams, but I sure as hell can vocalize my opposition by showing up to wherever there's legislation.
Are you going to have a tumbling team?
I am going to keep the tumbling team. Guess who my tumblers are staying? I love them. I love them, they're good folks. This is where the all libertarian all the time comes out. I am not part of the two-party system, so I believe my independent opinion will be valued by both Republican and Democrat, or so I hope. You will see my proposed solutions in the upcoming months, and of course, I am always willing to new ideas and suggestions for my family in the LP of Illinois. Come along on this trip with me. I've enjoyed working with all of you across the state these last few years. You have strong chapters and a strong dedication to libertarian principles. You care. You want someone to represent your interests, and that is what I plan to do. You never have to worry about my intentions or leaving to go to another party because it may seem easier. I will never use this party as a platform for my personal gain. Never. It's just not in. I am with this party for the long haul. I will remain all libertarian all the time. Will you? Yeah.
All right, we have one candidate left, and at this point, I don't give a shit. My bias is coming out. Everybody should know who this candidate is, especially if you collected signatures for her last year. I collected about 4,000. This summer, I'm going to celebrate 15 years with this woman. In the last 2 years, this woman ran against 11 other people for College of DuPage trustee. And the whole time, she was the only one who told them what party she was from, and it was a libertarian. When that was over, she started an 18-month campaign for Illinois comptroller. Her mother got sick. Her life completely changed to take care of a sick mother while studying and passing her CPA while You'd have to wrestle a bear in order to impress me beyond what this woman has done, and she's put up with me for a decade and a half. Yeah! But here's the thing. But here's the thing. During this last campaign, she got a record number of votes. She debated her opponents at the Chicago Tribune and the Sun-Times, which has never happened before. Did this while caring for a sick mother and studying for a CPA. I'd like you all to give a welcome to the greatest little blonde girl in the world, Claire Ball.
Thank you. Isn't he a sweetie? I think I'll keep him for another 15 years and then we'll see. Hi everyone, I am Claire Ball, accountant, CPA, and partner in crime to our wonderfully high-energy DuPage chapter chair over there. Wouldn't give it up for anything. I actually did not begin my political journey as a Republican. I grew up homeschooled in a Democratic household, never thinking much about politics, like any good Democrat. Until my teen years, when I started working, paying bills, and realized, boy, this taxation thing really isn't that great. I've been a libertarian in spirit for, I'd say, over 15 years now, but I've been actively involved for well over 5. It's been quite a year since our last convention. We set new vote total records, including for my race of Illinois Comptroller, where I received 187,000 votes. Because of the support of all of you, I was able to crawl all over the state with my dedicated crew, raising awareness of a qualified and independent option and being an absolute thorn in the sides of Republicans and Democrats alike. Also, we managed to slap the hand of the Federal Elections Committee with our court win over presidential debates. And we struck a legal blow against the state over the banning of medical marijuana dispensaries from participating in the political process. Not only can the industry now donate to the candidate of their choice, but there is an official record out there that says Ball 1, Madigan 0. However, even in a year of accomplishments, there are many battles yet to be fought. Let me just get this out of the way right now. I'm not done yet, and I want to be your Libertarian candidate for Comptroller in 2018. We are going into 2 years without a balanced budget, and neither party will stop fighting, take responsibility, or even curb their spending. The new comptroller would rather come up with elaborate ways to denounce the governor for a budgetary mess that started dozens of years ago, instead of doing the job of comptroller. The old comptroller fought hard to stake a claim for independence during the last election before quietly sailing into the seat of deputy governor at her old comptroller salary. Our state legislators are suing to get their part-time paychecks before anyone else gets paid, while denouncing the other party for not helping the small businesses, the schools, and the health service providers during the fiscal crisis. Apparently, helping themselves before helping others is their new motto. Last year, I talked about qualified over connected candidates and a lack of transparency in our government. There's plenty more where that came from. Illinois' finances are a mess. It was stressed to me in the past that the comptroller is not an accounting job. It's a level C executive role. I'm sorry. You can call Joseph the executive custodial engineer, but at the end of the day, with the mop in hand, he's Joe the janitor. Accounting sits with the comptroller. It's an accounting job. And while I'm certainly not a janitor, there's a lot of cleaning up I can do in Illinois. I heard my ding, but I'm not done yet. The Auditor General is a role appointed by the General Assembly for 10-year terms. This individual is supposed to be a financial check and balance against the comptroller as well as the treasurer. How can you claim independence when you're appointed? How can you be a financial check when you have no financial background? It's ridiculous, and I want to put a spotlight on this clear failure of internal controls. I also have a bone to pick with the trustee boards that oversee the investments of our state pension funds. Apparently, both are chaired by the comptroller, and the majority of members appointed by the governor. I wouldn't trust these people to give me the correct change in a McDonald's drive-thru. I certainly don't want them anywhere near my pension funds. Illinois deserves qualified and independent individuals on our pension boards. With your nomination at the next convention, my team and I will be a bigger, louder, and even harder to ignore presence in the Illinois political spectrum. Each year, last point, each year that I am involved in this party, I see it grow and I see amazing things happen. Libertarians have plenty more to do, and I want all of you to join me on this next journey. I'm Claire Ball, Libertarian CPA. Thank you.
I happen to know on good authority she did time that speech to 4 minutes, but it went on longer because you all kept clapping! So it's your fault! But thank you for holding her accountable. I appreciate that. Guys, thank you very much. We had 6 great people come up here and tell you who they are, and now the rest of the night it's your job to talk to them, get their numbers, email them, Facebook them, stalk them, let them know what you think. Give a round of applause for all 6 of our candidates today, guys. And now I'm going to bring up Chair of the Libertarian Party of Illinois, Mr. Lex Green.
You won't have to look at me for long. I'm here to introduce the next event. We're going to go to our auction. We do want to try to get through even the mountain of stuff here, and I thank everybody for contributing. The person that is going to be our auctioneer has been our auctioneer many, many times. He's a legend in the party. He's been a member of this party since the 1970s. And as I look out here, I see people who've joined in the last couple months. I see people who've been involved since the beginning of this party. Ken has been here a long time. And during that time, he has done wonderful things in activism. He's taken the seatbelt laws to court. He's marched in parades. He's a legend as a petitioner in this party because of the year after year he's delivered huge numbers for us. So not the least of his roles, though, is one of our favorite auctioneers. So Ken, if you would come up and take control of the auction.
Okay, oh, Brian, come here. I need your hat. I can't do this without you.
It's gross and sweaty, I'm warning you.
All right, that's fine. All right, let's have some fun.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I hate to do this, but I was just notified that dinner is ready and it's going to get cold.
We can do dinner first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Oh. I apologize. Don't forget the great introduction for this great guy. And let's go ahead and eat. And once everybody gets their food, we can move forward with our festivities. Thank you.
So dinner,
I'm sorry.
It's already in about 5 minutes, and dinner is going to be in the library room where lunch was, and they have 2 banquet lines set up so we can get food faster.
Yes.
And the other one is in the director's room, which is right. We are having a buffet. You're going to pick up your dinners and then bring them back here.